Hi, welcome to From Frustrated Therapist to Successful Coach. I'm David Steele. I'm founder of Relationship Coaching Institute, and I am very, very happy that you are here today because it is a passion of mine to help my therapist colleagues. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and my life changed when I discovered coaching, and believe it or not, I was not aware of how frustrated I was as a therapist until I discovered coaching. Isn't that interesting? I was just trying to get by, just trying to survive. I wasn't thinking about it too much. So I have a lot to share with you today, and you can follow along in the slides. So here's what we're going to cover today. I'm first going to talk a bit about why I was so frustrated as a therapist, and maybe you'll relate to that. We're going to cover the differences between coaching and therapy, big questions that I get from therapists. This is probably the first question they ask when I talk to them about coaching. Well, what's the difference between coaching and therapy? And then common myths that therapists have about coaching when you don't quite understand something, you know a little bit about it, you know how a little bit of knowledge is dangerous. Well, there's a lot of myths that therapists have about coaching. We'll talk about that. We'll cover common questions that therapists have about coaching. Then we will talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is building the $1 million coaching practice. And I'm writing a book right now. Wiley contracted with me to write 2 books. From Therapist to Coach is the first one, and that was released in April. Very excited about that. And the one that I'm halfway through right now is about building the $1 million private practice. It's the logical follow-up that once you have a successful practice, now you can leverage it to reach more people, and the more people you reach, the more money you make. And it's not really about making the money. We don't enter the helping profession to become wealthy. It's not about the money for us, but it is a measure of accomplishment. So the more accomplished you are as a helping professional, the more people you help, the more money you will make. And we need to leverage our expertise to make the biggest difference in the world that we possibly can. And I want to show you how to do that. And then we'll talk about Relationship Coaching Institute and what's next. So, next slide. Let me tell you a true story. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I got my start in the helping profession in 1978 when I was 21 years old. I got my first counseling job, counseling in a group home full of wayward boys. And I was licensed in 1985. I opened my private practice, and I decided I wanted to work with couples. I grew up in a divorced home, and it's, having a successful marriage and family is a very important goal of mine, and it's really the kind of work I wanted to do in my profession and dedicate my life to it. That's why I became a marriage and family therapist. And so in my private practice, I specialize with couples. Well, fast forward some years later, and in about 1996, I was burning out. It was really hard just to go to work every day and get through the day with my clients, and I couldn't understand why. My mission was the same, never wavered. Help people have successful marriages and families. Show up in the world so I can lower the divorce rate and make a difference in the world of relationships. But as a therapist, it just wasn't working, and we'll get into talking about that. And when I discovered coaching, by accident, stumbled upon it, this brand new helping profession that emerged all on its own, I at first was a little suspicious, like, what is this? And, people they don't have degrees, they don't have licenses, they're calling themselves coach and charging people money to help them with their life. Oh, that doesn't sound professional or responsible. But the more I looked into it, the more excited I became about coaching as a profession. Wow, what a powerful helping methodology. And I really saw its application to relationships. This is finally how we can lower the divorce rate. And I had no idea how to market myself as a coach. First, I got coaching training. So I really got it, what coaching is, how to do it. And then I started thinking about how I'm going to apply that to my practice and to my community. And I got an epiphany. Probably the biggest epiphany I've ever had in my life, and it's really, really simple. 3 little words: singles become couples. And I just got excited about the idea of helping singles, because if I could prevent people from making poor relationship choices, help them make good relationship choices, then that's how I can lower the divorce rate. And singles they have the goal of having a successful relationship, and they don't have a relationship. So as a coach, that's what we look for. We look for the gap between where people are and where they want to be. And here was a very, very clear gap. And short story, I'm going to wind this up. Within 3 months, 90 days of launching my services to singles, I had a full coaching practice. In fact, I had it over full because I had to bring on some associate coaches and partners. I ended up building an empire around coaching singles, and then singles became couples, and then we coached the couples. And it was so much fun that I let go of my therapy practice. I was doing much better work, much more effectively as a coach than I was as a therapist. I did not start out intending to do that, by the way. My intention was to do both. And today, I'm still licensed. I'm still a licensed marriage and family therapist, but I haven't done therapy since 1997, and I don't miss it. And you'll learn why in a few minutes. So the journey from frustrated therapist to successful coach, to me, is so doable. I've done it. I've helped hundreds of other therapists do it. And if that's what you'd like to do, I'd like to help you do that too. So you can transition to coaching 100% like I did, or you can integrate coaching into your practice and really expand your offerings and your target audience tremendously. You don't have to let go of being a therapist. You can enhance your practice. So, I was a frustrated therapist because my income, for the most part, was dependent upon insurance reimbursement, managed care, PPO, HMO. It was my goal when I started my practice to get on as many insurance panels as I could because I wanted to get clients. I wanted to build my practice. And the clients that they referred to me weren't necessarily the kind of people I wanted to work with. I was a relationship guy, and I was getting, everything under the sun. And the income from working with insurance reimbursement clients, that was welcome, but it was a fraction of my hourly rate. So my hourly rate at the time, way back when, was about $100 an hour, and most of my insurance contracts are paying $50 and $60 an hour. At first, I was happy to get that business. After a while, it was getting kind of frustrating to me because it really limited my income. I was filling up my available working hours with these $50, $60 an hour clients, and I wasn't making the money I wanted to make. I was struggling. I was making peanuts and, trying to support my family and pay my mortgage. And I was also frustrated because the clinical requirements of insurance reimbursement are that you provide a diagnosis. And when I entered the helping profession, it was never my intention to be a clinician, to diagnose and treat. The DSM-3 at the time was something that I, kicked and screamed resisting before I, attended training because I had to and learned how to use it. And in order to get paid as a therapist, you must provide a diagnosis from the DSM. Now it's the DSM-4, soon to be DSM-5. And that never, ever felt good to me. And providing a treatment plan as well. And stating how many sessions it's going to take. And on the one hand, accountability is probably a good thing. On the other hand, therapy is a journey. You can't do it in 3 sessions, 4 sessions, 6 sessions, 8 sessions. And the insurance, the whole insurance system is more of a medical model system. And I really, that did not resonate with me. Although I was just trying to survive. I was just getting by. I didn't really think about that at the time. And I was a frustrated therapist because what I really wanted was private pay clients. I wanted a full private pay practice. I didn't really want to take insurance, but I had to do it to survive. And in the meantime, I'm looking at, okay, well, how can I get private pay clients? I had no idea. And I took some workshops that were available at the time. This was way back when. There was very very little available. And I even tried some experiments. I took some risk. One of my biggest failures, very embarrassing, but I'll share it with you anyway, is I spent $8,000 on a direct mail campaign. I looked in the Yellow Pages, this was pre-internet, for a local marketing consultant. And this marketing consultant convinced me, I have to take responsibility, I allowed myself to be convinced that direct mail was the way to go. I could reach thousands of qualified, couples and potential clients in my area for pennies apiece. And all I had to do was get, 0.5% return, and I'd have a full practice. Well, it sounded all right to me. But $8,000 later, 0 clients. It was a big bomb. And it devastated me. I was totally frustrated. How in the world can I build a private pay practice? I was getting some private pay clients. I wanted more. And I spent most of my time working with insurance reimbursement clients, so I didn't really have the time to build a private pay practice. So it was kind of a vicious circle. I was a frustrated therapist because of the stigma that most people attach to therapy. And it really pained me that they did not want to work with me. They saw working with me as a sign of failure or inadequacy, or that there was something wrong with them. And I entered the helping profession because I, fell in love with the personal growth movement. I wanted to help people have happy and successful lives and relationships, and to help them achieve their human potential. And being a therapist and being associated with a medical model and billing insurance and providing a diagnosis and treatment, people really see us therapists as, that's a last resort. Only screwed up people do that. And that was painful to me. I was also frustrated because the clients that I was seeing would only see a therapist as a last resort, and they were desperate. Now, on the one hand, the hero, the savior in me, wanted to save their marriages, wanted to save their life. And, I was a bit codependent, I admit it, and that felt good for a while. But then I really got it that a lot of these people, they waited too long, and there was irreversible damage. And, a lot of them, they would go to therapy to say they've tried everything, but they're just so far gone that, some of them make it, like some marriages made it, and most didn't, by the way, and that was hard for me. I wanted to save marriages, and the fact that 50% or more of the couples that I worked with got divorced anyway was not okay with me because they waited too late. They came to me when they were desperate, and really all they wanted was for the pain to go away. And it was really hard for them to take responsibility and to have hope and to take the actions needed to make it work. They just wanted the pain to go away. So, moving on from all that frustration, differences between coaching and therapy. So, in a nutshell, let's define therapy and let's define coaching. Therapy, and really we're talking about psychotherapy, we're not talking about massage therapy or things like that. Therapy requires a license because it's a healing profession that addresses mental, emotional, and social disorders and can bill medical insurance. And if you look in the dictionary for a definition of therapy, it's going to look something like this. If you look at therapy in practice, this is what it looks like. Therapy requires a license because it's a healing profession, and it addresses mental, emotional, and social disorders and can bill medical insurance. Coaching, on the other hand, is a personal growth profession that is action and results-oriented and works with functional clients, not with people that have mental, emotional, and social disorders. So there is a bit of confusion because therapists, us individual therapists, not the profession of therapy, but therapists, we are personal growth-oriented also. So the coaches are personal growth-oriented and we are personal growth-oriented. However, how coaches help clients is very different than how therapists help clients, and how the public perceives therapy and licenses therapists and governs them is very different from how coaching approaches its clients. So that is the difference in a nutshell. Let's look at some definitions. Coaching is a profession. Therapy is a profession. What is a profession? A profession is an occupation requiring specialized education and or training. Now, if you think you know what coaching is, and you think you can just do whatever you're doing and call it coaching, that's wrong. It's misinformed. Coaching is a distinct profession, a distinct helping methodology that does require specialized training and education. So therapy is a treatment of physical, mental, social disorders or disease. Psychotherapy is a treatment of mental and emotional disorders through the use of psychological techniques. And coaching, in a nutshell, the definition, my definition anyway, is partnering with clients to enhance their skills, resources, and creativity they already have to achieve their personal and professional goals. So it's a very positive, empowering model. It's strength-based. We are partnering with them, meaning we're equals, we're peers, we're supporters, rather than experts telling them what to do, giving them advice and our professional opinions. And what we are helping them do is tap into the skills, resources, and creativity they already have. They are already experts. They are already powerful. They already have inside them everything they need to be successful. And to me, that is exciting. I would much rather look at my clients that way than as a therapist as, oh, you poor thing, you're so wounded, you need healing, here, let me help you, let me give you an intervention, let me give you some advice, here's my professional opinion, oh, that relationship is so unhealthy, you should get divorced. I haven't said that, but I've heard couples come to me and said, other therapists have said that. So let's look at the ICF definition of coaching. ICF stands for International Coach Federation. The website is coachfederation.org. This is the credentialing body for coaches. They set the standard for what coaching is, and it's pretty much a coach-run organization, so it's self-policing. There's no governmental body or regulation. But they set the standard pretty high. They really want to raise the profession, police the profession, keep the profession extremely professional and ethical. So ICF defines coaching as partnering with clients, remember that, in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. Coaching honors the client as the expert in his or her life and work and believes that every client is creative, resourceful, and whole. Does that sound good to you? Does that resonate with you? It really does strongly for me. Coaches are trained to listen, to observe, and to customize their approach to individual client needs. Now, this might make sense and it might sound obvious, but you realize the therapy profession, what we do is we have a theoretical orientation. We have a treatment plan. We already have a paradigm with which we approach our clients. Say, oh, well, you have an addiction. Well, here's how we're going to approach that. Oh, well, you just got arrested for domestic violence, so here's how we're going to approach that. And coaches do the reverse. They individualize their approach to the client's needs and styles and preferences and what works for them. They seek to elicit solutions and strategies from the client. They believe the client is naturally creative and resourceful. The coach's job is to provide support to enhance the skills, resources, and creativity that the client already has. That's a direct quote from the ICF definition of coaching. If that resonates for you, then coaching might resonate for you as well. So let's look at some differences side by side. The profession of therapy is that it's healing-oriented, it's an inside-out model. We're working with people on the inside, and it's treatment-focused. This is what our license is anyway. A lot of individual therapists, they have their different approaches, but it's a treatment-oriented profession. This is the orientation of the profession, not the individual therapist, of the profession. Now, coaching as a profession is action-oriented, goal-oriented, and results-oriented. So you put those side by side, it makes the difference is pretty clear. Now, one way I like to conceptualize the differences is to think of the 5 primary types of helping professionals. And this is my own little paradigm. I made this up because it makes sense to me. Hopefully it'll make sense to you and be helpful to you. But in my mind, there are 5 types of helping professionals. There are therapists, counselors, consultants, educators, and coaches. Therapists, we discussed, this is a healing profession. We treat mental, emotional, social disorders. Counselors, in most of the world, a counselor is an expert in problem solving in a particular area, like weight loss counselors or addiction counselors. Sometimes they have a degree and a license, and sometimes they don't. Consultants are experts in a particular area, and their job is to help the client solve problems or accomplish a specific goal. They are hired to give advice. And educators are experts in a particular area, and what they do is teach. They teach information. They have a curriculum. They are interested in boosting learning, knowledge. And coaches, as we discussed, are action-oriented and goal-oriented. But you notice a difference between these 5 types of helping professionals. They're all different, but a huge difference is therapists, counselors, consultants, and educators are all experts. They are all hired for their expertise. And they have information. They have more expertise and information than the people that they work with, and they are hired to deliver that expertise and information. Coaches are the only one that is not. As a coach, you don't need to be an expert in anything except being an expert in how to help this person accomplish their goals and overcome their obstacles. So you just need to be able to deliver your coaching skills expertly. For example, a coach, any coach, any trained coach, could work with a client that came to you and said, I want to build better houses. Here's a contractor, a builder. He wants to build better houses. Now, do we know how to build houses? Do we know what advice to give him about how to build better houses? No, not at all. However, any coach can work with that contractor and guide them, support them through a journey of building better houses. That is the main difference between coaching and all the rest of the helping professions. It's a very humble point of view. We're not pretending we know any better than anybody else. We assume that our client is the expert, and they need our support, encouragement, cheerleading, and accountability. They don't need us to tell them what to do. When you think about it, telling people what to do or giving them advice and professional opinions doesn't work anyway. As a parent, whenever you tell your kids what to do or what they should do, how's that working for you? So it's kind of human nature to resist information and control coming from the outside and to prefer to embrace something that resonates for you that comes up from the inside. So let's look at some more differences. These are practice differences. So in the practice of coaching versus the practice of therapy, the fees are different. Coaches bill by the month, or they bill by the year, or they bill by the program, and therapists will typically bill by the hour. Coaches get paid in advance. Therapists get paid after the services are rendered. Billing, most therapists accept medical insurance. Most therapists, most of their bills are paid through medical reimbursement. And insurance reimbursement is, on the one hand, it's a great way to get clients, a steady stream of clients into your practice and to pay your bills. On the other hand, there's so much paperwork. I was spending 10 hours, 15 hours a week on paperwork. And then there's the claims that get denied. So you submit a form to get paid, and then it comes back denied. So you have delivered those services, and then you aren't getting paid for them, or you have to fight to get paid for them, and that was frustrating. So I can go on and on about insurance. But coaches, cash, check, or credit card, private pay only. And liability in therapy is crucial to be protected from. You must have liability insurance as a therapist. As a coach, it's optional. We work with functional people, and coaching by itself is harmless. There's nothing that we do as coaches, if it's coaching, that could do any harm. The only way we can do harm as a coach is if we're providing coaching instead of something that this client really, really needs, like they're suicidal and they end up harming themselves. So, we have to use good professional judgment, but liability is much, much less of a problem in coaching because we're dealing with functional people. And then the service delivery of therapy is typically, one-to-one or one to a couple. Sometimes, we do some therapy groups. And the service delivery of coaching is like the wild, wild west. We do groups, we do workshops and classes, we do individual, we do on the telephone, we do, in person. It's totally wide open. We sometimes go to the client's place of business, or we meet with them in a park. It's totally wide open. And then how we get clients as a therapist versus a coach is very, very different. As a therapist, as a therapist transitioning to coaching, I had no idea how to get coaching clients. And I started focusing on singles pretty much because I was desperate. I didn't know what else to do. And I figured that was the path of least resistance. And boy, did it work. And so I've learned a lot since that I'd like to share with you more today. So there's a tremendous difference in how you get clients as a therapist versus how you get clients as a coach. As a therapist, you're working with people that are motivated to contact you by pain. My Yellow Page ad as a therapist, couples therapist, said, couples in crisis. That was my little marketing device. I figured, well, if they were in pain, then they would see that, and then they would call me. And boy, they did. And the way you get clients as a coach is very, very, very different. They are not motivated by pain. They're motivated because they see you as the person that can help them accomplish their most important life and business goals. And we're probably going to talk about this a little bit more, but it occurs to me to share with you one of the biggest learnings I've had in this whole journey, which is surprising and also a little bit painful as a therapist, which is people will pay much more for what they want than what they need. Now, if they're in pain and their marriage, for example, is on the verge of divorce, they needed me. They need therapy. And I could never understand it why, when they were referred to me, they wouldn't work with me unless I would take their insurance. And I never understood that. And now I understand it. Because people will pay much more for what they want than what they need. They feel entitled to getting therapy, just like they feel entitled to be able to go to the doctor and, get medical attention, because they lump therapy in with the medical model. They don't want to pay for it out of pocket. The insurance industry has trained them. And coaching is a whole different animal. They want coaching because it'll help them achieve their biggest goals in life, like finding their soulmate, or building $1 million practice, or anything else you can name. And when you think about it, how much would they pay for your services by the hour to help them solve their relationship problem or their personal problem, whatever it might be? $90, $100, $150, $200 max? How much would they pay if I had and I do, have a program that can help them find the love of their life? How much would they pay to find the love of their life? To go from being single and alone to being in love and living happily ever after? How much would they pay for that? If they were convinced that it would work for them, they would mortgage their house. In fact, I've seen this live right in front of my eyes. I was at a workshop, a large workshop conducted by a very, very prominent coach. There was 500-600 people in a hotel ballroom in San Diego, and we spent the entire weekend on business building topics. And this coach had a coaching program that she was selling, and it involved weekend retreats, 3 a year, involved 2 individual sessions with her, and involved weekly telephone conference call group coaching. That's basically it. $100,000. My jaw dropped. I was shocked. $100,000. But this coach's marketing and positioning of her coaching program was so powerful. She had people convinced that they would achieve their dreams. And they flocked, and they signed up for this $100,000 a year coaching program. I had no idea how they were going to afford it. I talked with a lot of them. They didn't have a lot of money, whether they were going to mortgage their house or whatever, who knows, but they were convinced. Now, I wouldn't want to do that. I would not want people to mortgage their house to work with me. But it's a great illustration of the difference between people who will pay much more for what they want than what they need. So as coaches, all we have to do is, and this is getting a little bit ahead, but that occurs to me to share it with you now, is all we have to do is choose a target audience that we can help, have a program for that target audience, market to that target audience, and then talk to them in a way in which they believe that our program can truly help them accomplish their goal. That's it. And if they believe that we can help them, they will sign up because they much rather pay for what they want than what they need. This is the thing that as therapists we just don't get. And believe me, it's true. So more differences between coaching and therapy. The professional role of a therapist versus a coach. The role of expertise. As we mentioned, a coach is not an expert, doesn't need to be an expert, doesn't take the expert role with the client. And a coach, for example, a true coach, this is my own opinion, a true coach would not call themselves doctor, would not want the client to call them doctor, would not market themselves as doctor, even though it might be, good marketing to say, Dr. Steele, relationship coach. It's aligning yourself with the medical model. It's putting yourself on a pedestal above the client, where we want to partner with the client. We want them focused on our program and how it's going to help them, not, us. Setting the agenda. The client sets the agenda as the coach. As a therapist, we as experts set the agenda. Okay, you are having trouble in school. You're depressed. You're anxious. Here's the treatment plan. Here's what the DSM says about it, or here's what my theoretical orientation says that we need to approach this situation. Agenda setting is very different. The focus of coaching is on strengths and on the client and their goals and the step to accomplish those goals. And the focus of therapy is on what? Wounds, problems, the need for healing, the past. The responsibility for the outcome in coaching is 100% on the client. And here's a little bit of a paradox. It's a wonderful paradox. The client is totally responsible for the outcome, and they accept that responsibility because the coach is not an expert. They're not the person that's going to deliver the result. And they are signing up for coaching knowing that. And it's a paradox because, before they sign up for coaching, they're struggling doing it on their own. Even though they have all the resources and creativity inside them that they need, they are still struggling to do it on their own. And they hire a coach, and all of a sudden, they're able to do it. But are they able to do it because of the coach? No. They're able to do it because they're accepting the support of the coach, and they're taking 100% personal responsibility. As a therapist, it was painful to me when clients would not accept responsibility for the problem or the solution, which was most of the time. I spent most of my time trying to help, individual spouses of a couple take responsibility for their part in the relationship instead of blaming and pointing fingers. And the role of giving direction, opinion, and advice. As a helping professional, as a therapist, you got a license, you have a degree. It's almost like we feel obligated to give our opinion, our professional opinion, to give advice, to provide direction and interventions. And one of the hardest things for me when I transitioned to coaching, and I got my first coaching training, was the idea that I couldn't give advice. And even giving feedback needed to be limited. And that was hard in the beginning because I was so used to it. I was so used to being the expert. A very, very different modality. More differences in clients. The motivation of coaching clients is to accomplish their goal. The motivation of therapy clients is the alleviation of pain. The self-perception of clients. Coaching clients are proud of themselves. They are happy and excited to sign up for coaching. Therapy clients, you think they're happy and excited and proud of themselves? No. They feel stigmatized. They feel like they're a failure, like there's something wrong with them. And so the self-perception of clients is very, very different. The desire, what they desire, it's, there's a principle in coaching. It's the law of attraction. It's whatever you focus your attention upon grows. Whatever you focus your attention and energy upon grows. So if you're focusing upon problems and trying to problem solve and wanting, this pain to go away, guess what? It grows. In coaching, we focus on solutions, goals, actions, and we get forward movement and success. And one of the beautiful things about the difference between coaching and therapy, well, not really difference, but it integrates it a bit, is success is therapeutic. And so sometimes we're wondering, well, does this client need coaching or therapy? One of the things you can do is try a coaching approach with them first, and once they start achieving success, maybe their depression will lift, or whatever other, thing is helping them be stuck. So success is therapeutic. Another difference between coaching and therapy is the relationship with the client and the client relationship with you. As we discussed, coaching is a partnership. We're equals here, and the client sees the coach, more like a partner, more like, trying to come up with an example, more like the mailman. The mailman delivers the mail. The mailman's not any lesser or greater than we are. They're the mailman. They have an important role in our society. Coaches have an important role in our society. And, they're not greater or lesser than we are. There's no magic here. And that is empowering. And I did not realize until I became a coach on how disempowering it is when we come from the point of view that we know more than our clients. And when we accept our clients, coming from that point of view as well. In fact, I would have clients want to call me Dr. Steele. And I told them, hey, I'm not a PhD, I'm not a doctor, just call me David. And they would still want to call me Dr. Steele. They still wanted, to be the patient in the relationship. They wanted to see me up there on that pedestal. That's a clear illustration of the difference where therapy clients come from versus coaching clients. So, common myths that therapists have about coaching. And I'm going to start with a quote. Opportunity misses those who view the world only through the eyes of their professions. And this is a quote from a futurist. His name is Gerald Celente, Trends Journal. And let's say it one more time, opportunity. And by opportunity, we mean, things that are desirable to you, things that will enhance your life and your profession and your ability to make a difference with people. Opportunity misses those who view the world only through the eyes of their professions. So if you're looking at coaching only through the eyes of being a therapist, you're missing it. If you, look at the big picture, and you look at coaching through the eyes of someone who wants to make a difference in the world, someone who has a mission and a message, and you enter this profession for a reason, then hopefully you can see the role that coaching might play in how you can help people accomplish the goals that you want to help them accomplish, that you are on this planet for. This is your legacy. This is the reason you entered this profession in the first place. So, common myths. Coaching isn't a real profession, for whatever reason. It doesn't require a license. It's not government regulated. Well, we already talked about that. The definition of a profession is it's an occupation requiring specialized training and or education. It absolutely is a real profession. You can't do coaching without being trained as a coach. That's just a fact. Most people, and I think the confusion is that the word coach or coaching is a common word in the English language, and we think of sports coaches, and we think of what we see on TV, and we think we know what coaching is. Well, coaching is a profession that has emerged from the personal growth movement, from sports psychology, from executive consulting, and it's developed into its own profession. So guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It isn't just a common word in the English language anymore. It refers to a specific helping methodology, a specific profession. Another myth is, I already do coaching. And it's true that most therapists do some form of coaching in their work with their clients. They do practice some coaching skills. But unless they are doing it under the hat of a coach with coaching clients, it is not coaching. If you are doing therapy with a client and calling it coaching, it's still not coaching. I don't need training to do coaching. I'm a therapist. I've been doing this for a long time. I know how to help people. Well, believe me, as a longtime therapist who discovered coaching and then went to get coaching training, coaching is a whole different profession. It's a whole different animal. Let me tell you a short story. One of the first coaching exercises in my very first coaching training was being paired up in dyads, and for 5 minutes I was working with a practice client, and I could do nothing but ask questions. And this was a powerful question exercise. My job was to come up with powerful questions that really helped this person, dig deep, gain greater understanding of themselves, get in touch with their solutions, etc. And I couldn't do anything but ask questions and even try to ask powerful questions. Let me tell you, it was the longest 5 minutes of my life. All the things I relied upon, giving feedback, providing, brainstorming, providing suggestions, even mirroring, reflecting back what I was hearing. I couldn't do any of that. It was really hard. So just try that, and you will really get a sense, boy, this coaching thing is very, very different. And another myth is that I have to give advice for my client to be successful, and maybe even that they're paying for my advice, so I'm obligated to give them my advice. It's human nature that even though when people tell us what to do, we resist doing it. It has to come from the inside. And we will only accept advice that resonates with what we already know and what resonates for us in the inside. And so what we need to do is to help our client get in touch with what they know is right for them, what they know they should be doing. And here is the amazing thing. I mean, if you think about it, people always know what they should do. What do you think about that? Almost all the time, 99% of the time, people know what it is they should do. So do they need us to tell them what they should do if they already know it? No, and it doesn't work. So people won't, I'll lose credibility if I market coaching, because coaching isn't a licensed profession. I'm going to lose credibility. Not at all. Not in my experience. You know, you may look down on your nose at coaching because it's not a licensed profession. You may be a bit suspicious about it, like I was suspicious about it. But the public realize two things here. First, they don't care what you call it. You can call it coaching, therapy, consulting, woo-woo, magic. They don't care what you call it. They just care about the results. And they don't look at you and your labels and the same way that you look at you and your labels. So if you're a therapist and you specialize in narrative therapy, you know what that is, you live and breathe it, you're passionate about it, but people looking at you and your narrative therapy from the outside that don't know what narrative therapy is, they're not going to relate to you or narrative therapy at all. So they don't care what you call what it is you do. They care about what results you're going to help them get. People won't pay much for coaching because they don't need it. Well, we already covered that. People will pay much more for what they want than what they need. It's a sad truth. It's painful for us as therapists, or at least it was painful for me. But as coaches, this is the wonderful position that we are in, is that we don't pander to the pain. We don't get paid to alleviate pain. We empower, truly empower, and help people accomplish their most important life and business goals. Last myth is that people won't pay for coaching in a recession. And I'll tell you, as a helping professional, I have been through 3 recessions. And the people that are most afraid in a recession are the people worrying about paying their bills. That's you as therapist. For the rest of us, whenever there is an increased need for our services, that is the time to step up our marketing. That is the time where we thrive. So in a recession where everybody's scared, that is when they need you the most. So I'm sorry, I don't agree that people won't pay for coaching in a recession. You know, let's take any example where the business person who's worried about his business and needs wants to grow it by 30%, the executive who wants to keep his job, the single who wants to find a relationship. Well, if the single is having trouble paying his own bills, and part of what happens when you're a couple is that you double your economic power. So that is a solution to financial instability. And how much would you pay for that? Would you sign up for a service or a program that would help you find the love of your life? Absolutely in a recession. Maybe even more so in a recession. So, it's a myth. I'm sorry. There's more about this, by the way. If you go to milliondollarpractice.net, I have a free downloadable audio program for you on how to get clients in challenging times. That talks about, how to market effectively in a recession. So common questions that therapists have about coaching. And I'm going to answer all of these. Do I need certification? No. You got plenty of letters after your name. Get certification if you want certification, if you want to demonstrate your commitment to coaching as a profession. But no, you don't need certification. However, you do need training. Can I bill medical insurance for coaching? No. Medical insurance pays for medically necessary services. You have to provide a diagnosis. And coaching works with functional people. So if you provide them a diagnosis to get paid, you are committing fraud. So no. In fact, it is against what makes coaching effective. What makes coaching effective is that people will invest in themselves. When the amount of money they invest, like that $100,000 a year coach I was talking about, you better believe she gets results, because these people have invested $100,000, they're going to make it work. So the higher the investment, the more guaranteed the success. And that's why medical insurance doesn't work as well, because if people are paying a copay or nothing, they're not invested in the service. They get much more benefit out of something they invest in than something they don't. So no, you can't bill medical insurance for coaching, and we don't want to anyway. Can I do coaching and therapy at the same time with the same client? No. Now, you can do therapy with a client and incorporate some coaching skills and strategies, but it's still therapy. It's very different from coaching. Your role is different. The whole context is different. The way the client sees themselves, especially if you're billing medical insurance. So, no, you can't do coaching and therapy with the same client at the same time. However, you can have a coaching practice and a therapy practice side by side. You can work with coaching clients and do coaching, therapy clients and do therapy, and guess what? You can graduate your therapy clients, when they're ready, into your coaching groups. I would not recommend you graduate them into coaching because you still have that transference, countertransference, therapeutic relationship going on. It'll always be there. But in a group situation, it's dissipated. It's far less. So you're much safer graduating them into a coaching group. And groups are very effective for coaching, and they're much more profitable for you than one-to-one, hourly services. So I highly recommend having that as a practice model where you do coaching, you do therapy, you have your therapy clients, you have your coaching clients, you graduate your therapy clients, your one-to-one therapy clients into your coaching group. Do I have to stop doing therapy if I provide coaching? No. If you are a therapist who wants to integrate or add coaching to your practice, you don't have to stop doing therapy at all. Realize your licensing board and even your liability insurance provider, they don't care what you call your service. You can call it coaching, you can call it therapy, you can call it woo-woo, whatever you want to call it. They don't care. To them, everything you do falls under your license. So that's a double-edged sword. There's good news and there's bad news. To your licensing board, everything you do falls under your license. So even if you get coaching training and you start coaching, to them, they don't care that you call it coaching. It still falls under your license. You have to comply with every regulation regarding your license. And so do I need special liability insurance? Well, maybe. Yes and no. If you're worried about it, go ahead and get special liability insurance. For coaches, it's cheap. It's really cheap. And we're talking, a couple $100 a year at most. And if you want to examine your current liability insurance policy, look for exclusions. What do they exclude? In most liability insurance policies will exclude things like telephone work or work outside of your office, like doing workshops and classes. So look for the exclusions, and if you have any questions, go ahead and call them. And you say, hi, I'm starting to do coaching in my practice. Does that fall under my liability insurance? Will you guys cover me, for doing coaching? And chances are they won't have the answer. And the way insurance companies are, they will most likely be conservative and to say, well, probably not. But in reality, they don't care, what you call it. But by all means, examine your policy, and if you're worried about it, do get another policy just for coaches. Very easy to get, very inexpensive. So those are some common questions therapists have about coaching. Here's more. Is it hard to get coaching clients? How do I market and get coaching clients? Would I make more money or less by providing coaching? How much should I charge for coaching? Is it hard to get coaching clients? No. And we'll talk about that in a minute. How do I market and get clients? We'll talk about that in a minute. Would I make more money or less by providing coaching? you will make much more. As a therapist, you have a ceiling. You only have so many billable hours in a week. As a coach, your options expand because you can do group programs, you can do online programs. It's almost infinite. And that's why I'm writing the book, I'm Building the $1 Million Private Practice, to show you how to do that. How much should I charge for coaching? This is a really hard question. Well, number one, certainly charge by the month or by the program. Do not charge by the session. Do not charge by the hour. Do not advertise, I provide 2 coaching sessions a month for this price, 3 coaching sessions a month for that price. Don't. No. Have a set fee per month for coaching, or have a set fee for your coaching program. So if you were to set your fee for by the month for coaching, what would it be? And here is my advice to you. Take it or leave it. Think about how much you would pay for coaching. You personally. If you were to hire a coach, how much would you want to pay? How much would you be comfortable paying? Okay? Whatever that number is, double it. And that is what you should charge for coaching. Now, I have a whole rationale for why I say that, but that's, that would be my advice. Now, for your coaching program, actually, I prefer to sell programs, not sessions. Don't focus on coaching. Don't focus on coaching sessions. And focus on your program. A program is specifically structured and tailored for a particular niche, and it helps them accomplish a particular thing. Like, how to find the love of your life in 90 days for Silicon Valley singles. Conscious dating. That's something that I developed. And then put a price on it. And have all sorts of various services included in it. Individual coaching, group coaching, classes, workshops, online membership program, your info products can be included in it. And so it's a whole program. It has multiple pieces and multiple steps. And you can charge way more for it than you can for your time. So that $100,000 a year coach, that is for her program. She's charging for her program that promises particular results. She is not charging for her individual's time or her individual services. So, next up, I would like you to take a look at this slide. Building the $1 Million Coaching Practice. This will give you an entire business strategy for how to approach coaching, how to get clients, and how to build a practice as a coach, a very, very successful practice. So what you see in front of you on this slide is a funnel. Top of the funnel, lots of people. And your job is to market and reach lots of people with free and low-cost programs. The purpose of these free and low-cost programs is to market and create prospects. Now, marketing is the activity of communicating what you do. That's it. Marketing by itself doesn't create clients. In fact, remember my $8,000 direct mail campaign? That's how I proved it to myself. I can market till the cows come home. I can spend $8,000 on marketing and not get any clients. So marketing creates prospects. So top of the funnel here, there are a number of fun things you can do to market and create prospects. You need to have an opt-in offer on your website. You go to $1millionpractice.net. You'll see an example of that. How to get clients in challenging times, how to choose a niche. Just put your name and email here. Conducting free and low-cost seminars, presentations, workshops, classes, and joint ventures, having partnerships with other professionals and organizations that'll help you reach their audience, having a niche community for your target audience. That's a great way to market. You can use Facebook. You can use Twitter. You can have an in-person niche community. I've designed a model for one that I call Club Relate, and you can talk, that's for, relationships, of course, and you can check that out at clubrelate.org. That's clubrelate.org, and this is part of what we call our Conscious Relationship Communities Project. My goal is to help the members of RCI, Relationship Coaching Institute, create niche communities that provide a tremendous public service and fill their practice. This is what I did. This is how I filled my practice within 90 days here in 1997 in Silicon Valley. It's what I want to help our members do as well. So niche communities are a lot of fun. And then having products, having something free and low cost, that then there's an upsell. Somebody has raised their hand and say, yes, I'm really interested in this. So, for example, in Relationship Coaching Institute, one of our most popular products is our communication map. You can go to our website and see it, or directly you can go to thecommunicationmap.com. And it's only $19.95. And it's an entire communication system. I call it a one-page communication system for all relationships. It has a laminated mini poster. It has a tutorial CD. It has a wallet card. It's a totally packaged program. And it's only $19.95, and you buy more, and then it becomes a lot cheaper. You can purchase it in bulk as well. And everybody that purchases that is a highly qualified candidate raising their hand saying, hello, I am a great candidate for relationship coaching. I'm really interested in what you guys offer. And then providing scholarships is a free and low-cost thing to do. If you have a workshop or a class and you want to fill it up, you want to get people interested, then offer scholarships. You're going to do it anyway. It's probably going to have some empty seats anyway, so provide some scholarships. That'll help you fill the empty seats. It'll also attract paying customers as well. They tend to trust you more because they see you as public service-minded rather than profit-oriented when you provide scholarships. And then your referral sources and systems and having an affiliate program. Now, this is for online only, but referrals, let me mention something about referrals. Did you know that even in today's world, it's well established, it's a well-documented fact, that by far the most successful, most effective way that private practice professionals get clients is word-of-mouth referral. So building your referral systems is the best way to go. If you were to do just one thing, that would be it. Now, the payoff is not immediate, but it's something you want to do ongoing. And this is something we cover in our practice building program at Relationship Coaching Institute. We have a 6-module, 13-week practice building program for our members. And one whole module is on building your referral systems. And wouldn't it be nice to, just kick back after a while, after you've built this, and the referrals keep on coming and coming and coming and coming. So your marketing becomes effortless. You really don't have to market anymore. Absolutely possible, but you got to lay the foundation first. And that is the top of the funnel. That is marketing. That is bringing large numbers of people into your system. Lots of ways to do that. Very easy, very doable, and it can be a lot of fun. I've done things on the spur of the moment. Last Valentine's Day, for example, I put together the Together Forever Club. So you can check it out at togetherforeverclub.com. And there's 5 promises for my beloved, and there's a membership certificate. And I had the idea that, if you buy into these 5 promises, you can join the club, and it's free. You download and print out this beautiful membership certificate. You sign it, you date it, and you give it to your partner as your gift. It's the biggest gift you could possibly give your partner, these 5 promises. And it's free. And so we get people signing up for it every day. And that was just fun for me. I did that in a matter of a few hours on Valentine's Day. So in the middle of the funnel, you see moderate cost programs, products, and services. The goal of these is to provide value and create clients. Provide value and create clients. Yes, it is profitable. You do make money. But seriously, do you think Relationship Coaching Institute makes a lot of money on the communication map? Not really. I mean, between our the time needed to pay people to, fulfill the orders and, credit card charges and shipping charges, and it could be don't charge shipping on it, it's not a huge money maker. But the goal is to provide value and create clients. So when people pay for something, even if it's low or moderate cost, they have stepped up from waving their arms saying, I'm interested and attracted, to I'm a highly qualified potential client for you. I put my money where my mouth is, and I commit my time. It's not just about money, it's also about time. So let's say you provide a low to moderate cost workshop. Let's say the workshop costs $49. Now, very few people would pay $49 and not show up. They might sign up for something for free and not show up, or $5 and not show up. But if they pay $49, they're going to show up. They're invested. And they, the barrier to entry is low for them. $49, well, I really want to do this workshop. That's not very much. Okay, I'll do it. So the barrier to entry is low. And they are highly, highly qualified prospective clients for you if you know how to enroll them. And there's many other things you can do. You can provide follow-up groups to your workshops and classes. That's my favorite business model. Provide workshops and classes, and then offer the graduates of your workshops and classes a chance to continue working with you in a group, because they learn what they need to know to be successful in the workshop or class, and then the coaching group supports them to implement what they've learned on an ongoing basis. When they graduate the class or workshop, we don't believe that's all they need. We believe that's when it just begins. And in my experience, at least half of the participants of your workshop and class will continue with you in your coaching group. So you do a class of 10, that means about 5 will continue with you in your coaching group. That's enough for a group right there. Those are ongoing clients. Now, one client might work with you for 1, 2, 3 months, 6 months, a year? A coaching group pretty much lives forever. I've seen coaching groups go indefinitely, years and years and years. And so a coaching group is one of the keys to a $1 million practice. And membership programs, moderate cost, $49 a month. Relationship Coaching Institute, for example, is a membership program. You pay an enrollment fee, and then to stay a member, all it costs is $29 a month, $49 a month, depending upon your level of membership. If you get a lifetime membership, then you don't need to pay anything per month. And over the life of the membership, it becomes, a heck of a lot cheaper the longer you're a member and the more benefits that you engage in. So membership programs are a very, very effective way for you to make yourself available to large numbers of people and make it very affordable to them and very profitable for you. It is fun, it is effective, and it's profitable. I mean, you really can't beat that. And then info products. Anything you do can be leveraged into an info product. This seminar is being recorded, can be turned in. I can charge people to access the recording if I wanted to. And whenever you do a workshop or class, record that. Get it on video or audio at least. You can turn that into an info product. If nothing else, you can sell the recording to the people that attended. But you can also put it on your workshop and give people a choice. You can attend this workshop in person, or you can purchase the home study program. So any workshop can be turned into a home study program. I do a one-day relationship coach training for therapists. 1 day for CEUs. And I've done it around the country. I haven't done it in a while because, I'm really not that keen on traveling. It takes me away from, doing what I really want to do. But what I've done is recorded this, and so there's a workbook, a manual, there is a CD set, and it's available on our website as a Relationship Coaching Home Study Program. It's not meant to cover everything, and it doesn't advertise that, but it's meant to be an introduction, and it's very affordable. So it's an example that anything you can do live, you can record and turn it into an info product. And then you go down towards the bottom of the funnel. Now, you notice these arrows on the side? What that means is that you have these large groups of people that you're marketing to and joining your system at the top of the funnel, and then those are the people that you market your low and moderate cost products and programs to, and so they sign up and pay, and then they're in the middle of the funnel. They're qualifying themselves as highly qualified potential clients for you, and then that is the bottom of the funnel. A certain percentage of them will sign up to work with you. And what can you do with them? Well, you can have a high-cost membership program like that $100,000 a year coach did. You can, and a membership program is, it might look similar to the free membership program, but instead of having just a bunch of digital things or group things that you do for free, you are actually providing your direct services individually and in groups in your membership program. You can have packages, silver, gold, platinum. You can have premiums, meaning you sign up for this membership program and you get this. So the $100,000 a year coach, you sign up for a membership program, you get 3 retreats. You get individual coaching with her. She throws in all sorts of other bonuses and benefits as well. Your groups, we already talked about that. Groups are highly profitable, highly effective, and highly affordable for the participants. So that is a win-win-win. And then your individual services, your individual one-to-one clients. So that is the $1 Million Practice Coaching model. At the top of the funnel, your free and low-cost marketing activities. Middle of the funnel, your moderate-cost products and programs. Bottom of the funnel is your high-cost programs and services. That is how you build a $1 million coaching practice. That is how you get a full practice of private pay clients. This works best when it's applied to a particular niche and a particular specialty. This is not done as David Steele, relationship coach. I work with anybody and everybody. This works best if I narrow it down to, this is my conscious dating program for singles. And I focus on the singles in Silicon Valley. Or I focus on, never married singles that have given up. Things like that. So your marketing is always way more effective when you have a specific target audience, a niche. When you have a niche, then you know who they are, how to reach them, what would work for them, and you can do your market research with them so that you know what will work for them. You don't have to guess. And if you have trouble with that concept, what is a niche? How do I choose a niche? God, there's so many possibilities, I don't want to narrow them, or there's so many possibilities I have trouble choosing. Well, if you go to $1millionpractice.net, I have another free program for you called How to Choose a Niche. There's 11 strategies for choosing a niche, and guaranteed going to that program and trying those 11 strategies, you will have lots of choices and you will be able to narrow them down and figure out where to start. So that is about how to build a $1 million coaching practice. You can only do that as a coach. If you take a look at this, it's really hard to do this as a therapist. But as a therapist, you enter this profession to help people, to make a difference in the world. And we can do that as a coach. As a therapist, I worked in my four-walled office. As a coach, I got out of my office and I conducted workshops and classes and worked with groups. I made a much, much, much bigger difference in my community as a coach than I ever did as a therapist. So if this sounds good to you, I want to help you do that. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.